I'd like to thank you all for coming today to share in the wedding celebrations with Nathan and Vicky. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Matthew, Nathan's older brother. We're not often allowed in the same room unsupervised. Despite the nerves involved in having to write and perform this speech, I've actually been looking forward to this. Nathan has finally admitted I am the best man. I'll keep this short, as in typical me as fashion, I've left writing this speech until the very last minute, then changed my mind about it, then cancelled it and said I was too busy, and then found the cheapest on the internet. And I'll probably send it back once I've finished with it. There would have been a slideshow as well, but if you've seen the pre-wedding photo shoot, you've already seen all of Nathan's best photos. Luckily, the majority of the stories I have about Nathan also incriminate me, and therefore have been excluded. However, the uncensored version, in particular the story about Nathan's 306 Cabriolet and my boxer shorts, will be available in the bar after the war. A brief insight into the life of my little brother. Nathan was never happy being Nathan. Originally, he wanted to be Tarzan, and was always after the pet elephant. He pestered Mum non-stop, and even measured the garden and figured out if we removed the neighbour's fence, it would fit. At least until it grew up anyway. Persuaded out of having a pachyderm for a pet, he then took on the role of Superman and even wanted to dye his hair black. This is also the only time Nathan has ever worn underpants on the house. His early teens led to a love of boy bands and teen pop music. Nathan knew every word of every New Kids on the Block, Backstreet Boys and the 70s. He even planned a fly drive to America with his mate Joseph purely to stalk Britney Spears. He was also the deciding factor in the aforementioned 306 Cabriolet. An overactive interest in girls then drove him to his new incarnation as Peter Andre. Complete with braided hair, dungarees and a struggling six-pack. Mysteriously, all the photos of this time have disappeared. I believe it was around this time that Vicky caught Nathan's eye, for having more sense, laughed off the lovesick red lock monster. Unfazed and convinced that the uniform would attract gallons of female attention, Nathan joined the fire brigade. This obviously did the trick, as Vicky's head was clearly turned only by the uniform, and it was the same old brother of mine underneath. Nevertheless, Nathan had won his prize, and they haven't looked back since. Together they have loved and supported each other throughout Nathan's entrepreneurial progress, in his early beginnings as the bedsit landlord of the gentleman farmer you've seen before. Which brings me to Nathan the farmer. In his latest guise, Nathan and Vicky have certainly put their time, effort, bodies and souls into making their farm a successful venture. However, I firmly believe that Nathan became a farmer not to satisfy Victoria's dreams of equestrianism or an insatiable urge to rescue every waif and stray, but for Nathan to have enough room to get his pet elephant. Now, originally I was going to end my speech here, but with the usual toast of the happy couple. However, hot off the press, I have received some further information from Greenwatch of Dufferin regarding Nathan's life in the fire service. So, here goes. His nicknames, Money Mears or Jim Carrey, aka Liar Liar. The fact is, he's the last member of the watch to be married. Nathan, aka Speach Boy, started out flipping burgers at McDonald's whilst working retained at Cumbrand Fire Station, from which he then joined full-time. Unbelievably, he is still employed by the fire service, although he uses the job as rest periods between his occupation as landowner, property tycoon and middle-aged farmer. Day shifts are spent utilising the fire engine as Nathan taxis, which can normally be seen hanging around his favourite haunts of the city centre, such as Barclays Bank, various council offices, accountants, and numerous well-owned, well-looked-after bedsits, as advertised on the front page of the South Wales. His dislikes: he's scared of spiders and scared of the dark, so much so he sleeps with the light on and will not sleep with the door closed. He's also scared of flying, to which you must ask yourself, how did Vicky lose her passport? Just as they were due to go on holiday, and they had to cancel it, and then for it to reappear a few days later. His bad habits: he's the smelliest feet ever. At present, he claims to be changing his socks 3 times a day. Although it's not his Speach's men, but apparently the new boots he's been wearing for the last month. He also has the tendency to embellish the truth on occasion, so much so he starts believing it overnight. For example, he promised to watch cheap laptops when he first arrived on the station, and yet they're still supposed to arrive 10 years later. On a shout when he was in charge, he encouraged the driver to take the fire engine across the field to save walking. And even though when all the kit had been taken off it, mud was up to the axles and a large crowd had formed, he radioed control to say, "We're not stuck, just lost traction." Needed a bit of the help. Oh, and we cannot answer any of the calls until he does. He recently informed the watch that the Newport bus that had just cut them up on the roundabout was about to get to Nathan Mears' desk. He promptly positioned the truck alongside the bus, giving the driver his best fare, and then burst out in hysterical laugh to their amazement.